Hello, welcome to Mae Dae Mentoring, where we encourage you to be the best me that you can be. Welcome to today's show. My name is Michelle, I'm your host, where we take quantum biofeedback and positive thoughts and turn it into a mentoring process to help you uplift your life. We'll be back in a moment.
With H2O kinetic technology, Addison showerheads don't just spray. They immerse, massage, and invigorate you by blanketing your body in water. It's the size of the droplets and the drenching coverage that make the experience feel so rejuvenating.
On December 20th, around 2:30, I was home working during the day. I had stepped out of the house for probably 10 minutes. For their own safety, we had confined, before I'd left, I'd confined the dogs in the bedroom. At about 2:55, literally 10 minutes after I left the house, my cell phone alert went off stating that the third floor smoke detector was going off. I broke into a sprint back to the house. I was probably maybe 100 yards away. Got home and got up to the third floor and experienced heavy smoke coming out of the master bedroom, where evidently there was this fire that had broken out. I opened the door and immediately got hit with a bunch of black smoke, but I could see that the bed and the back wall of the property were on fire. I got down on my knees in an effort to go in and see if I could find the dogs. I found them. They had crawled into their kennel, and when I found them there, I literally grabbed the kennel and pulled the kennel into the hallway where they ran all the way out. After that, we waited for help to arrive. They were able to respond immediately. They were here within 5 or 6 minutes. Battling the fire. It was clearly a wonderful thing that Alarm.com notified me when they did. The damage to our house would be far more extensive than it is. Not only would it have been much more severe on my property, but because it's a townhouse, there could have been spread to their property, and I know they have young children. It would have been much worse. I'm certain my dogs wouldn't be here today. My wife and I, they are currently the loves of our lives, and they're rescues, and we adore them. My whole point through this ordeal has been an alarm system doesn't matter much if it doesn't work the one time you need it to work. But the system worked the time it needed to work.
Welcome back to Mae Dae Mentoring. Today we have a guest, Jody Bauer. Hi, Jody. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm excited you're here.
Thank you.
So tell me, how did you find Mae Dae Mentoring?
I actually found Mae Dae Mentoring through a friend of my daughter's. She was having her very young son treated for severe food allergies. He did very, very well, so she started treating also. Then my daughter started having an issue with her son and someone at school that was causing a lot of stress and anxiety. So she had him treated. And in fact, his progress was immediate and significant. So she was extremely happy. Within a week, she and I were both having appointments with Michelle, and we have since brought multiple family members and friends along with us.
Fabulous, yes. What issues did you come to see Mae Dae Mentoring about?
I actually have recognized over most of my life that I struggle with anxiety, some depression, lots of stress, low self-esteem, and with that, unfortunately, comes along some excessive behaviors. So when you put all this together, it becomes this vicious cycle that never really ends.
Was it hard for you to understand how the frequencies were generated by the machine and, to grasp the concept of how the actual machine worked? Was that difficult for you to understand?
In theory, it all makes perfect sense to me, but if I had to explain it to someone, I'm not sure that I could do a very good job, so I'm going to give that back to you.
Well, that's okay, because we do have our website, mayday.net, where you can look and see an actual example of somebody receiving a treatment. So, and it explains on there how it works, and you can also give us a call or email us if you want more information. So let me ask you this. You were treated in person, and you were also treated over the phone long distance. Did you find there to be a difference in either session? Did you find one to be more helpful than the other?
I think they were both very effective. In my mind, I really did like the overnight treatment because I felt like the many hours of treatment might be very beneficial for me. The consultations, although I love doing things face to face, you have such a wonderful ability to communicate your caring and your mentoring by phone. I felt they were equally useful and wonderful. The only thing missing was your smiling face.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's funny because when I do the overnights, which we haven't talked about yet, if you do the in-person, you come and you get hooked up to the machine and it's an hour session. If we do the overnight, I wait until you go to bed and I do the session, and then the next day I call you and we discuss what you're supposed to do and your strategy for moving forward with whatever I found in the treatments. And I never know what I'm going to discuss until I get the person on the phone, the client on the phone, and then I have divine intervention that helps me with the process on mentoring you. And, I kind of wonder, is there anything extra you want to say about that process that you feel like you've received, or anything that you feel like might be helpful that I might not be including to help viewers understand that next day process? Like, how do you feel in the morning when you get up? And, how do you feel like your thought process has changed or is different?
I think it's all wonderful. When I get up in the morning, I generally do notice a difference in the way I'm feeling. And then I can't wait to get on the phone with you and discuss, to hear what you have to say you found, what you worked on, and discuss how I can stay focused and move forward.
Absolutely. Awesome. Do you feel that Mae Dae Mentoring has assisted you in changing your thought process and helped you remove some blocks, personally, career-wise? I mean, what are all the different scopes in which you feel like Mae Dae Mentoring has helped your thought process changed?
I think initially, the first thing I noticed was that I was much calmer. The anxiety, the stress, the anger, all those things started to feel much better to me. And even when they tried to come back into my life, I seemed to be able to diffuse them more easily. Also, the blocking, I really see those blocks coming down. I found that I had been blocking a lot of negative issues, but in that process, I was also blocking all the wonderful positive emotions that I want to have in my life. So as those blocks come down, I am feeling so much better. I have so many more really good days. When I have a really, really good day, it's like being high times 100. Those days are absolutely amazing to me, and I'm looking forward to having many, many more of them. The other thing that I noticed, and is probably most important, is that I have learned to activate my spiritual faith. And I am keenly aware that that is key to all the other wonderful things that are happening in my life. And I can't wait to move forward as little miracles happen to me every day now.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it, once you start to bring the spiritual aspect into your life, how it turns around and how God can really help you with every little detail of your life.
It is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
And I ask for that all the time.
I'm so happy. Faith helps. It really does help, doesn't it? Do you think that you'll continue to do work with Mae Dae Mentoring in the future?
I have no question about that whatsoever. In fact, as you and I have discussed recently, not only will I continue, but I plan to increase the frequency of my treatments and my consultations. I do believe that really helps me stay focused and keeps my momentum moving in an absolutely positive direction.
I am so happy to hear that. And we're going to be back in just a few minutes, and we're going to continue talking to Jody. We'll be right back.
Alarm.com equips home and business owners with top-rate interactive security technology so you can best protect your property and your families. Now we've added energy management and home automation solutions to our platform so you can control and monitor your home from anywhere and effectively manage your energy usage. Let you remotely adjust your lights, locks, and thermostats. plus set energy-saving smart schedules to fit your lifestyle. Let's take a quick look at some of the key features offered. Remotely turn your lights on or off, or set them to come on automatically when a door is locked or the alarm is disarmed. Schedules can even be set to make it look like someone is home, even when they aren't. If you plan to leave town for vacation, it's easy for you to set automatic light schedules, so lights turn on and off at slightly different times each day, making it look as if someone is home. Extensive lock feature, you can check in to make sure that all the doors in your house are locked, and even lock the front door from your smartphone if the last person out the door in the morning forgot to. Unique key codes for individuals also help you keep track of everyone that's coming and going from your home, and there is no need to leave a key under the mat anymore. More than just a programmable thermostat, .com's services allow you to remotely adjust your thermostats to save energy and money. You can view your home or business's actual activity pattern, which is learned over time via data reported by the security system. Then, you can optimize thermostat schedules based on that data using the Smart Schedule feature. Plus, when extremely hot or cold weather rolls in, the Extreme Temps feature can automatically adjust the temperature to reduce energy waste, while still keeping the home comfortable for everyone. One of the key benefits of using energy management and home automation services is the easy security system integration. Because the security system is the only system in the house that actually knows when someone is at home or away, data from the system can help you make better, smarter decisions about your temperature and lighting schedules. This means you can gain efficiencies and peace of mind by integrating an powered energy management, automation, and home security system.
Welcome back to Mae Dae Mentoring, and again, I'm your host, Michelle. You know, one of the things I would like to discuss right now is when I first started my process of digging up my authentic self, I first bought the quantum biofeedback machine, and I started the process of balancing my frequencies and changing the way that I thought, and I didn't really have a support system while I was doing that. So I do want people to understand that when you do work with Mae Dae Mentoring, we are there in between sessions. So if you have a question or you need encouragement or you need support or whatever it is that you need that we can try to help you with, we are there. You just call or text or email, and we will return the call, text, or email as soon as we possibly can. And I'd like to talk to you, Jody, about that. How do you feel Mae Dae Mentoring handled the support that you needed in between sessions?
I've had absolutely wonderful support, and lucky for me, I have friends and family who are doing it with me also.
Yay.
So I kind of have daily support, which is really, really tremendous.
Well, and you know, I'm glad that you brought that up, because when you have more than one person in the household doing the same work and raising the frequencies in your house, it also, you bounce off of each other. So the school says for the machine that each treatment takes on 49 times the strength per person in the household that does the treatments as well. So what that breaks down to is if you and your husband both do treatments, then the treatments actually take on 49 times the amount of strength.
That's amazing.
I know. So as you've seen with, doing treatments with your daughter and the grandkids, the more people you do the treatments with, the more they are there for support, and they're growing as well with you. So you are all building upon, it's like laying a brick wall. You're building upon those frequencies. So I would like to say that it is great when you work on everyone. You can work on kids, adults, animals. I work on pets. We do artwork where we paint the artwork and then we infuse the art piece with certain frequencies, and then you just hang it on your wall and it emanates frequencies for peace, love, happiness, joy, protection, all kinds of different things. We can also charge your jewelry if you come for a treatment in person, or if you have an item that you want us to charge up, you can just mail it to us and we'll charge it and mail it back to you with whatever frequency you want. So you feel like we were there to support you in between. So if you had a question or you feel like you needed encouragement, you just text or called us and we responded right away, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's absolutely wonderful. I always feel that support's there.
That's awesome. And then I would also like to say, if you could go into a little bit more detail about your grandson who was treated by Mae Dae Mentoring, which is how you came to find Mae Dae Mentoring.
He was being bullied at school by a boy 3 times his size. And while we're teaching him to stick up for himself in an appropriate way, it was really affecting him. He was kind of not wanting to go to school, feeling a lot of angst about it, and rightfully so. We really wanted him to be able to handle this on his own. And when he worked with you and had the treatment, literally the next day, we see dramatic changes in this boy. And he goes to school and it all plays out beautifully. And within a few days, the entire situation is diffused and gone.
And it's still gone to this day.
It is still gone to this day, and he is still much more confident in his ability to handle situations that come his way. It has been really a blessing.
So his self-esteem is much higher, and
Absolutely.
He feels much more confident.
And it was
awesome.
so immediate. It is so immediate. So is it different the way that you treat children and the way they respond to you?
Yes, absolutely. Children don't have as much, I want to say, layers of junk on them as adults do. Mm-hmm. So they are much more... they're much more, I don't want to use the word susceptible. They're much more...
Open?
Open. Yeah, they're much more open to the treatments and the frequencies. So it is easier to balance the low frequencies and put them back in balance. It's much easier to do on a child. And they don't tend to have as much on them. Like I said, with adults, we go through life, and if you look at life and like it's just energy, you think about how many people we come in contact with. If I'm 45 years old, so in 45 years, I've come across a lot of people. So I've absorbed a lot of energy from different situations, different people. So I have a lot to put back in balance. Whereas a child who might be 10, they have 10 years of it instead of 45 years of it. So it's not as deeply embedded in them. So it is much easier to change, and it doesn't take as long either.
It is wonderful. It was an absolutely wonderful experience. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to hear that. So is there anything else you want us to know about your treatments with the depression? Maybe we could go into a little bit of the depression and how you feel like you've been able to sustain more of a joyful disposition and more of an even keel like this, instead of the moods kind of up and down so high. It's more, rolling mountains versus up really high and crash.
Well, to backtrack a little bit, I definitely, when I was struggling at my worst with all of these issues, I found myself in a doctor's office on 2 separate occasions being handed a prescription for anti-anxiety, anti-depression medicines. So I did give them each a try on different occasions. It lasted about 4 or 5 days. And I quickly realized that all they were doing was erasing Jody. And while I have a lot of issues, I did not want to disappear. I just wanted to be happy. So at the end of the day, I'm saying to myself, you're 58 years old, you have everything, and yet you're still not happy. You don't know how to be happy. So what is missing in your life? And that's how I ended up with Michelle.
And I would like to say that I felt the exact same way. I mean, I've gone through the exact same things. I realized that my true purpose in life is to have Mae Dae Mentoring, and it's to go through the process myself and then help others go through this process. And in part of this process there's a spiritual aspect to it. And I had, like you, I had everything and I still wasn't happy. And I couldn't figure out why, because I had never really worked on being happy with myself. I was influenced by other people and who I was supposed to be and how I was supposed to act. And now I realize that really the only reality there is the reality that's in your head. And we have to find a way to constantly keep it in a nice high light vibration. And the best way to do that is to include God, source, divine, whatever you'd like to call the spiritual aspect. I mean, I kind of, when I first started this, I realized that there was a lot of different types of religion, and I realized that they're all the same. Whether it's Ganesh or it's Buddha or it's God, it's really all the same. It's that light source spiritual being who is above us, and that's what we want to bring into our lives, and our life does change. The machine helps us balance the frequencies to get us in a state of mind to bring us to that place. So in a minute, we're going to talk about, a little more in depth on maybe fear and anger and forgiveness. So we'll return after these messages.
Facing foreclosure and need help and peace of mind managing your debts? Laputka Law Offices can help you turn your life around. Whether assisting you with a loan modification, foreclosure defense, or Chapter 13 bankruptcy, we will help you put your life back together.
Hi, I'm Charles Laputka. If you're facing foreclosure, you don't have to do it alone. Give me a call today to learn all of your options and legal rights to save your home.
Welcome back to Mae Dae Mentoring, and I'm your host, Michelle. I'd like to discuss a little bit about fear and anger and forgiveness. I had mentioned earlier, what started this whole thing was my own process, and I think the best piece of advice I'd ever gotten, which came directly from God, was if it doesn't make you feel good, it's not coming from me. I was filled with anger and resentment towards everyone and anything. I mean, I could sit for 2 hours and take myself back to the past and get mad about something that happened 10 years ago. So one of the best pieces of advice, like I just said, was if it doesn't make you feel good, it doesn't come from the light source. So I want to kind of talk about that with you, Jody, a little bit. How did you feel when I said that to you for the first time? Because people it doesn't enter their head, and they're like, wait a second. If it doesn't make me feel good, it doesn't come from God. It's not a good thing. It's not a positive thing. When I started to work on the anger and the forgiveness and the resentment, I had to adjust my thought process so that I didn't sit still with an idle mind, because I would go back to the past or I would go to the future, which is where we get the anxiety. And I didn't realize how fearful I had become, and all of these camouflages I had put in place so people didn't recognize that I was being fearful. Being brutally honest, or maybe being a little pushy to people, was a sign of being fear. And I realize that now. I didn't realize it at that moment, but I do now. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about, how did you feel the first time I said, if it doesn't make you feel good, it's not coming from God? Every thought in your head isn't always yours.
I think it was wonderful. It really opened my eyes, and it sounds so simple, and yet you really have to practice at it when you're not used to it. You have to constantly remind yourself that if I'm not feeling well, okay, I need to remember that. But the more you practice it, the better you get at it, the easier it becomes. It starts to feel very, very natural to you, and you're able to push those negative sides, negative feelings aside.
Do you feel like you have been able to accomplish some sort of measurable, some type of a measure on how much anger you've got behind you? Did you have any issues with anger and forgiveness and resentment? And do you feel like just, putting the frequencies back in balance and talking to you about that, how do you feel have you overcome some of that?
I definitely think I have. I'm not perfect. I have a long way to go.
Yeah, we are human.
But I definitely have recognized also that a lot of my anger I was placing on other people, blaming other people for, instead of just recognizing that these were not my thoughts at all, and their issues were not my issues. And once I let go of all that, I feel much better. And I'm getting better and better at putting all of those things behind me.
That's awesome. I know, as for me, my husband would tell you, there was many times that I was stuck in the past. He could do something wrong, and I could go back. He would start an argument. I could go back 3 years, and I'm sure you probably can
my
understand
husband
that.
can go back 20.
Yeah, I'd throw him under the bus, and I realized that in part of, not like saying I didn't care for him or I was angry with him at that moment. It wasn't really him that I was angry with. It was myself for behaving or doing whatever it was that I was doing at that moment. So I have found that I have overcome a lot of that, and I do not go back to the past at all now. It's fabulous. So now that also frees up more energy and more space for you to work on things like addressing fear. So we've worked on some fear, removing fear from you, and I want you to tell us how that has affected your whole life, career, relationship-wise. Do you feel like, I'd like to use the example when you look at a room full of people and you're standing 10 steps up, that your perspective of the room is only what you can see. And then we balance the frequencies and you go 10 more steps, and then the room of people looks completely different. So I kind of want you to explain a little bit of how you feel like we've helped you overcome fears.
I think getting rid of a lot of those fears has helped me be, one, more honest with the people who are causing the stress in my life, or I am allowing to cause that stress in my life, and actually to the point where we are in the process of starting a new business, a nonprofit organization called True You Crew, where we are all about taking what we've learned and what we continue to learn and do God's work and share it with as many people as we can for as long as we possibly can. And I feel very, very blessed to be a part of this, and very, very blessed that Michelle is going to be a part of it with us.
So exciting!
It's very exciting.
So tell me, what is True You Crew going to do? What type of people are you going to cater to? How are you going to start this charity?
We're actually looking at it as though it has no boundaries, but we do have to have a place to start. So we're going to start with cancer patients, and we're going to work on bringing out the true you in the cancer patient. So even though they're suffering with hair loss and other things that are bothering them on the outside, we're going to work on that, but we're also going to work on the inside. Michelle's going to help us with that, with her biofeedback and her mentoring. We have an MD on board who's going to work with nutritional counseling and helping them to have more healthy choices in their lives, teaching children and adults how to prepare simple things to keep themselves healthier and happier. We're looking at yoga classes, teaching people how to meditate, offering all these things at no charge, and in fact creating a beautiful place for them to come and be with us and share and just be cared for and loved.
Now, do you think a year ago you would have ever even fantasized about something like this?
Not in my wildest dreams.
So
although I might have loved to do it, it never would have felt like a reality to me. And now it's an absolute reality.
This is exciting that it's coming to fruition for you. So you feel like you have really overcome some fears for you to be able to start this business and this charity, to be able to bring this to the people. So that's pretty exciting that you've been able to get rid of the fear. Now, what type of things do you think you're going to work on in the future with Mae Dae Mentoring?
I am going to continue working with you, as you know, and I'm actually planning on increasing my treatments and mentoring so I can maintain my focus and my momentum and keep going forward full speed ahead.
That's fabulous. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning into today's program. If you want to go to our website, mayday.net, you can check out on there where we'll have future shows. We'll have this show listed. You could rewatch it if you'd like to, or if you have someone that you would like to watch it. And I want to thank Jody for being here today and traveling all the way from King of Prussia. I always want to call that Willow Grove. So thank you so much, Jody, for coming here and being on our program today. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. And I also want to say that until next time, try to be the best me that you can be. Thank you so much.